My name's Peter Pashley. I'm the tech director here at Ustwo Games. I was in Malmo at the Nordic Game Conference and I bumped into one of the Oculus DevRel guys there, and he showed me their prototype device. He was keen on getting us to see if we thought we could come up with anything interesting for VR, so we tried it on, and it was the first time I'd tried a VR headset that actually had really good tracking. Previously we'd just tried kind of DK1 stuff, and that level of tracking was suddenly a complete sea change from I've got this screen stuck to my face to suddenly being able to look around this environment. And I think we were just really excited by that, and by the promise of mobile VR as a kind of cheap and broadly accessible way of doing VR. I think our priorities are always about making stuff for as many people as possible, or accessible stuff for as many people as possible. Not boring stuff, but interesting stuff that doesn't push anybody away from it. So mobile VR for us is more exciting than desktop VR because it has the potential to be seen by everybody. I think there's a very fundamental reason why mobile VR is better than desktop VR for exploring worlds, for exploring spaces, which is that there's no wires. So you can actually turn around and go behind you without getting yourself tangled up and falling over. And for me, what I've always wanted from VR is the ability to be in a new world. I want to put this headset on and I want to be transported. And I think my sense of being in a world is contingent on being able to explore it. So the fundamental motivations of this project is being able to explore a VR world, and just being able to go in a mostly straight line with a few slight zigzags doesn't do it for me. So in a lot of ways, we would have to make a lot of different assumptions to do a desktop VR game, and so yeah, exploring a world in mobile VR I think is actually better than desktop VR. There are limitations, of course. I mean, technically these are very large environments, and that was very much on purpose. We wanted to be able to make a world where you can see a hill 2 miles away and end up going there, because that's one of our theories about locations and environments, is if you can look at something but be pretty sure you're never going to be able to get there, you forget about it. You don't give it the weight that you would do something in real life where you think, oh, I could actually walk up there and see that big cliff. So yeah, we wanted to be able to turn around, and we wanted big environments. So a large part of the beginning of Land's End was figuring out if we actually could do that on the device. But it turns out that if you make the right technical assumptions, then you can do. And part of it is also about realism, or lack thereof. We're a long way away, even on desktop, from having photoreal environments, and I would actually argue that we're not for a long time going to have photoreal environments on desktop. Even if we can get something to look perfect, it's not going to interact perfectly. We're not going to be able to reach down and pick up the sands of grains of sand off the floor. So I think it's very important for VR to figure out a visual language of non-real but still immersive, where you can believe and your mind can accept that you're in this kind of environment without needing to be able to see all of the tiny little details. So again, that was a kind of part of the challenge that we wanted to look to getting some way to overcoming. It is what kind of art styles work well for VR. I think mobile VR will be the way that VR comes into people's homes. I think mobile VR is the broad future of VR, and I think that's underappreciated by a lot of people. I think, understandably, there's a lot of excitement about the heights that VR can go to, the height of fidelity, the height of interaction and tracking and all that, and that should excite people. But I think in terms of the actual mass market, the future of the medium, it will be through mobile VR, because people have already got these actually fairly high-powered compute devices in their pockets. And if you can spend $99 or maybe in the future $50, $20, who knows, for a bit of plastic to strap it into, then I think it's a no-brainer that that will be how most people experience most of their VR. So my hopes are high for mobile VR in general. It's going to be interesting to see over the next year how that adoption gets taken up, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how other companies respond to Gear VR, because Gear VR is by far the best mobile VR solution out there, and that is because of the deep integration between Oculus and Samsung. It's more of a software and operating system level thing than a hardware thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how Google and the other hardware manufacturers respond to that. I think if they respond quickly, then maybe in a year or two all major phone manufacturers will have a similar thing out there, and we'll see adoption go up pretty quickly. I'm hopeful that Gear VR will do well. I think it's a differentiator for Samsung. I've talked to people who are wondering what Android phones to buy next, and being able to get a $99 Gear VR is an important kind of swaying factor in that. Yeah, I think that Samsung are excited and enthusiastic about it, and they'll be putting a decent amount of weight behind the launch campaign, and it's going to be in stores, and we will start to see it be much more well known by the general public, I think. So I think Samsung have got a great early mover advantage with Gear VR, so it's really exciting to see how it does in the next year or so. Our approach for VR, the reason we're excited about VR is being able to kind of get in there at the beginning and help to kind of shape the medium. And I think we'll continue to be excited about doing that in the future as well. So we're not going to be a solely VR studio in the future. Our bread and butter is always going to be making mobile games, but I think we're going to continue to try and experiment, and if we can find ways in which it makes sense for us to do more VR stuff, we definitely will do. And it's not to say that we will never do a desktop VR product or anything. I think there's pros and cons to either, and it would be, some of us would definitely love to get to do that as well.